Sanje Chudang Soji Changdang La Shangche Pardo Dana Japsam Che Dago Shinzo Jebe Tsonam Ji Rola Penchara Sanje Rambar Sho Sanje Chudang Soji Changdang La Shangche Pardo Dana Japsam Che Dago Shinzo Jebe Tsonam Ji Rola Penchara Sanje Rambar Sho Sanje Chudang Soji Changdang Shangja Bada Dana Japsam Je, Daka Shinzo Jepe Sonam, Lola Penjara Sanji Rabba Sho. Okay. Good evening again.
Good evening, Geshe.
Good evening.
Okay. Happy Sagadawa. Today is the Sagadawa, right? The first day in the Sagadawa. Is everyone knows what is Sagadawa, as what's good for the Sagadawa. As we all the Buddhism believe that Sagadawa, the full moon, the 15 as the Buddha was born, Buddha was enlightened, Buddha was shown in Nirvana, or we can say pass away. Therefore, very special month. Then during this time, we all do any kind of activity to pray, practice, meditation, become more powerful, become more multiply. Therefore, it's good to do some praise, everyone. Okay, like that, then I'm not talking too much. Then we go to straight for the 35 Buddha practice. Okay. Okay, when we stopped last week?
We went through all the 35 Buddhas. We stopped at the end of the 35.
Only that?
No.
Nandu nyebada kanga ngusum sai bas.
Right.
Nandu bena.
Mm-hmm.
Bena nandu mige wa. Ani sosogo mige wa cheba yala chede chuba. Ejenji cheba jisa yarawa. Ani chiga koncho sunji korn choba shuji choba da. An sama cheba nga cheba da mige wa cheba la soba chasang chinsamay ba.
So we went through all the negativities, to be confessed, right? Right.
Yes.
Okay. Ani what is 다 드리더니 마 아니 가든가 오 가셔로 다 녀바 텐데 여와나 다 녀바다 가는데 샤기 있어 오다 텐데로 바로.
So we talked about all the kinds of non-virtuous actions that we have created since beginningless time, right, in samsara. So like whatever negative actions I have created, made others create or rejoice in the accretion of whatever possessions of the stupa, the possessions of the sangha, or the possession of the sangha of the 10 directions that I have appropriated, and so forth. So all these negative karmas that we have talked about, that we may have created, in this and in past lives since beginner's time. And so now, once we have recognized these negative karmas or sins that we might have created, so how do we confess them and how do we purify them now?
Okay. Remember, everyone clear that? Okay. 아제나 다 되는 거든 소리. 아니 레지드바 강거 점네 다스 이제 냐원 쳐봐금 된주 째는데 쳐봐금 어떤만 고추요레스.
So then in the middle it says right here, so after have created and being obscured by these karmas, causes me and sentient beings to be born in the hell realm, in the animal realm, and in the predator realm, and in religious countries, as barbarian and so forth, right?
Diga Karazana Bena, Neba Chembo Sayavana, and the dark legit Dravas, Sosugo Sashabe, and the Sosugo Saba, and Jenji Sabala Jis is Jela Sad Chuba, Jenji Shabala Jisera, the Chavayana, Tiga Neba Chembo Sayana, Tiga, and the Tan Revelatinita, Nyawache, Wanda, and the Tayaki Nibadiki Shavi Israwa.
And so, if we have created negative karma or have made someone else to create the negative karma or rejoice in their having created negative karma, then we have created negative karma in that way. If it's a big negative karma, then as a result, we'll be born in the hell realm. If it's a middling, then in the predator, and if it's small, then it'll be the animal and so forth. So all these negative karmas that we have created to be born in hell and so forth, we confess them.
Ani ta nyeba tele ani tesi yang wala ani yang chi tundu chenis ani chewa lesa yo te yang shawi is.
And also confess the negative karma that one has created to be born in the animal realms.
Ani da ngando ani chi ngaba sanje ve ani shetan chewa ina ani chi karugo karugo tijilo karucha ani yedaji ya oda ani ya dendeshida nani chibano tigi res nyawa da yedani nyamdo do mari tunjo da yedani nyamdo do tijondo ba kanjige ani ya tele le shemba chila ya yedaji yede chebe le kan ba teya ba sawi shawi is bo.
And so in some other texts, it talks about the predator, but here it doesn't say obviously, right? But it's kind of included in there, in the animal realms. So the predators or the hungry ghosts and animal realms.
다 아니 지 다 넘버 산제 바다 산제가 추 땜바 못할세베 연타고도 제베가 레산다 딜레드스 아니
Did not love that,
라
did not love that.
언나 예다스
No, 그래서 교수 예다기를 교수 라도.
예다이도 제 랩도 랩도
라도.
알레 오예 오다 되지 다 연타고도 제와도 간제 아니 남베 제와나 아니 산제가 땜바 못할세베 여 제와이나 연카 타고도 제와스 오 딜레드스 아니 니바드 파사기 샤기스.
And so all these negative karmas that one has created, right, to be born in the hell realm, animal realm, and the hungry ghost realm, then one is talking about all those, that on is thinking of exposing all these negative karmas that one has created and confessing them. And also it says in irreligious countries, the countries where there's no no teachings of the Buddha. Or it says irreligious, but it's like in a remote area. So remote area refers to the place where there's no teachings of the Buddha.
네. 아니 라루 제와 홈사데 다 나도 도스셔래. 아니야. 지금 라로 사데 간지 베나 샘제 세발라 때네 라라야 초바 페바이나 티그 겨와사 그래서 근데 라라야 초바 베나 아니 야보 연거서 근데 다 레스 뭐 어다 된로건도 남게 치니자 라로 사데 간지 쇼바데 야보 마레스 근데 제벨렘 바데스 파샤위 is.
So, and then if it's born as a barbarian, the barbarians, people who have no idea about what is right and what is wrong, right? And in one text, it talks about people who believe in making sacrifice, of animals. Like if you kill the animal and offer its blood to the god, then it will be a meritorious act. So believing such kind of things, also is called barbarian also. And so anyway, any negative karma that one has created to be born in the barbarian, born as barbarian, we also confess that.
아니 추드베 까와 메비가 아니 라테링 보세 제와 오테티비가 레테야 아미 샤위 is.
And it is said as long life God. So long life God, in their life is very luxurious life, but because they have no opportunity to practice Dharma during their lifetime, and they exhaust all their merit, ways to exhaust their merit. So therefore, any karma created to be born as long life God, should be also purified.
아니다 밀에 제와지 옹보 마타완도 변나 근데 쇼바이나 양아도 추체도 말에 매는데 아니 시당기 단대 차베나 지다 옹보 마타나다 식슈나데 로파만 보여다나 옛날에나 간지 옹보 마타데 코랑 옹보 마타와데 강기 요인자 아워든데 옹보 마타와 제베게 레다야 샤비스
And even if one is born as human being, but if one is born with imperfect faculties or incomplete, senses and limbs and so forth, then it will be difficult to practice Dharma. So that's also a result of negative karma. So any karma, negative karma, one is created to be born with the imperfect faculties or incomplete senses, then one should also purify them.
아니 지 렌제다 아니 텐제라 딱해 밀레게 가지 거완데딩 오 텐디가 로타친 텐딜레 제베게 레사서 대양 샤비스
And then also holding a wrong view. So it's the people who hold wrong view, who doesn't believe in karmic law, cause and effect, and so forth. So if one is born as that kind of person holding wrong view, they will not practice Dharma. So also should confess or purify those negative karma that one has created to be born as a holder of a wrong view.
다 나중에 다지가 산제게 땜반 좋아야 나 산제 좋아라야 아니 미니베 magabe tindigi legit ba kala bas o te is
or not being pleased with the Buddha's descent. So like if Buddha has come to this world, then we can turn to the will of Dharma and teach and benefit limitless, unlimited, unlimited sentient beings. So therefore, being unpleased with that, is also bad. So in any negative karma that one has created for that, and then one should purify that also.
오다 대다 라소 바스 아니 대다 라소 가로 또 라소 바 대다 산지 좀 된데스 이시대 저와 현대 저와 방대 저와 참말 저와 첨바스 바다 나그 샹아 토로세도 오다 두지 가르샤겠나 샤다데 산지 좀 된데 대다 산지 좀 된데 아니 지금 다 추탐주지 내로 현저말아 봐 직대다 아니 이시대 저와 아니 디근도나 야샤위스 달라바 타모자 고 구르고치네 야샤위스
And so, where do you confess this? The native karmas that you have created, you confess them in the presence of the Buddha, Bhagavan, who are transcendental wisdom, who are eyes, who are witness, who are the valid, and so forth. So this, so Buddha, who sees the things as they are, who sees everything, just as they are. In the presence of that Buddha, and you confess these negative karmas.
제가 안에 산지 좀 된데 렌제게 남자 차시 타와 쳐다봐진다 아니 쳔비 이시다 댐바 어 디근도나야 네 티체기 들어봐
And so a Buddha, who realizes, who have realized all the details about the karma, right? And in the presence of that Buddha, who realizes all the details about the karma, and I confess these negativities.
아니 산지 좀 된데 사야데 추탐주 렌제게 차시 타와 가도 미파 따는 통화 나지지네 베시 아니 현대 저와 딘디게 현대 디근도나야 베사메 바지네 바니 샤위 들어
And so in the presence of the Buddha, then you expose all your negativities without hiding anything. So Buddha who knows everything just as they are, who knows all the karma and their details, like the karma, details of the karma also, not just knowing that, oh, this is a result of the negative karma and this is the result of the positive, not that, but what kind of positive karma, where the positive karma was created, when it was created, and so forth. So that kind of detail, so who knows some kind of that kind of detail. So in the presence of that Buddha, I confess these negativities.
아 다나지 산지 좀 된데 아니 코랑긴 제바 맞지 아니 옌지 제와라 간지 산지 좀 된데 빵도 샤네 제와이나 다고 사이자바 차로 사이자와 스파로 차로 받아 제가 이 빵본대로 혹시 저런 건들랑 샤위스
And so then you take the Buddha, as the witness, who will, say that yes, you did confess, like that. So that kind of in that kind of way. So you take the Buddha, as the witness and confess in his presence.
됐어. 아니 다 나제가 아니 산지 좀 가로 on the Tan Tema Javasana, and the Sanji Chomden de Chata Zibatra, Mulava in that Tema Java, the nigger Sanji Chomden Dunang and the Shabi is.
So then, so Buddha is also, called the valid, because, the Buddha sees things just as they are. So whatever he sees is a valid.
The nigger Sanji Chomden de Chutam to Zig that thing Dula Susopa, Dechi, and then Tolos and the Tangi Lapki is kind of Palab, the Chonsons Palapki is Lamdi Shabi is.
And then, so a valid, who sees all, who sees with the omniscient consciousness. So who nothing is hidden, he sees everything, and so in the presence of the Buddha, then I admit, and confess, all these negativities.
Chedan Tolos at the part and the Labik, and I jump that the Chonsons and the Pal Labik.
So like admitting, is saying this, yes, I have had created such and such negative karmas like that.
And Chab and Chabos the Yijin Jobata Tembico and the Shaggy is and
And so then I admit and then confess. To confess is like confessing that, yes, I have created this negative karma. I feel very bad. I go with strong regret.
and then Michapos at the Samasog me said,
And then it says, I will not conceal them or nor hide them, like that, right?
and then maybe said that and the begging then that Chibaro in a Nente Pan Nemboshin Labik.
So like emphasizing, explaining and exposing or admitting, emphasizing.
Oh, Chezanga Nata Namjong of Yabadre Suzuko, Salam Yabadre Shoyana, when there's an any pal lap, and the Sanjay the Shanjo Sembiga, and the Koso to Yundana Pandon and Yabada and the Chonsons, and the pair Samsung, Atenas and the Chegames, and the Tosha in the pa, Labgo, but it love said they are making a lavication money.
So you have to, confess, when you confess, you have to admit it, or you have to, expose, your negative karmas. You have to tell it, tell. So I had, done this and this, in the kind of negative karma. Of course, you don't have to, go out and talk to other people, but in the presence of the Buddha, who knows everything, then you have to, and you have to accept and tell what you have created.
Wacheda that dig in Yaba the Mashaba Yena, Tangi Niba Muslim Bakasa. Did Niba to Sha Meba Yena or Tande Lab de Tunzugo, and this Sasha the Jed of Ninga Yores.
So all those negative karmas that we talked about last time, right? Stealing and so forth, stealing the property of Sangha and so forth. So, or having made others to steal, or rejoicing in someone else doing it. Then if we don't confess these negative karmas, then we may be born we may experience the result that we talked about earlier, like being born in the hell realm, animal realm, predator realm, or in a barbarian, and so forth. So
What an dig shed so the Mukumba Jig in the and Machia, Cheddar, the Basha is our Congo.
and so so we should confess them, and otherwise we may be born in those places. So these are here talking about the 8 non-freedoms, right? So in a place where there's no freedom to practice Dharma.
Watch. They are Kazan Session Georgia, Kazan Semi de Pasaya, and Semis and Rishata Chile, Pena Dachambas, Passable, Massive, Tendation Wayana, Tending Yeba de Session the other years and the take Smeo Maris, or Tending Jungle. Yeba Session the other Maris says, Teo Maris, or Tending Jungle. Or can you done? Can you tell me less? I can't watch them.
Okay, so also like we talked about the 5 heinous crimes, right? So the 5 heinous crimes. So there's it's another translation is called unlimited, or there's no limit, to the result of that negative karma. So if you create that negative karma, the heinous crime, like killing one's mother, father, arhat, causing schism in the Sangha community, and shedding blood from Buddha's body, if we have done any of those heinous crimes, then there's no limit. The result. There's no limit to the result. It's like infinite results that you experience like that.
어디 가상가도 라야 가상가도 시작하래. 아니 발라 발도 매워지는 게 솔직해서 돼 이제 막 재밌어야 돼. 어디 야탄람을 먹을래도.
And so, the last thing we talked about, that uninterrupted by any other rebirth, right? So we'll be born straight, into the hell realm. But here also talks about the actions of immediate retribution. Right?
오케이 다 되지. 다 안에 렌치제 dombraje laso 세테 다 녀발라 도베 타브레스.
I will not conceal and them nor hide them. And from now on, in the future, I will abstain and refrain from committing them again. So that's the power of promising, right? So not to engage in that kind of negative karma again.
뭐때 녀발라 도베 dobla 되면서 말해. 특되면서 말 특되게 녀발라 도베 dobde 당겨.
근데
아니 신체지 가로 렌치제 dombraje laso 세테 되면서 말해. 네 특되게 녀발라 도베 dob 되게 당겨다.
Yeah, so that's the power of promising to not engage in such kind of negative karma again.
제가 당도 칼에 땡기다. 내 목근듯이 니 목근듯이 뱉다. 아니 남바 순지 뱉다. 아니 니발라도 뱉다. 톱시들로 상송아.
So earlier we talked about the power of basis, right, which is taking refuge, and then after that, we talked about the power of antidote, which is making prostration, to the 35 Buddhas, and then the power of regret, about all these negative karmas that one has created or one has made others to create, or have rejoiced over others creating it, and so forth. So that kind of having regret, strong regret towards that, and then at the end, and then we make a promise. So that's the power of regret, and then the fourth one is the power of promise, right? Where we say, from now on in the future, I will abstain and refrain from committing them again. So that's the power of promise. So those are the four opponent powers for negativities.
대시던 레닝도 샤바이나 아니 다마타 니바치는 요 말이스.
And so if we purify the negativities, with these four opponent powers, then there is no doubt that negative karma will not be purified.
Okay. But 샤사디 샤비 예가리 아니 동작을 하선 주 성갈라 좀 산지다 셔주 삼아 단축은 늘려야 또 빵보지는 샤기요래. 대양 소속이 니바레레레 파미 따네야. 세워지는 파 슈네야 샤기요한다. 답변 답침보 잘도 그래.
So where you are confessing these negative karma is in the presence of the Buddha, 35 Buddha, Buddha Shakyamuni, right, and all these 35 Buddhas, and in their presence, you don't conceal or hide. You expose it all, strongly, with the strong sense of regret for having created the negative karma. So it becomes very powerful. So therefore, that negative karma definitely gets purified.
Okay, 다 되셔라 산지 좀 되다 달라 공소소 다가 깨완다 깨와 토미타나 마치바 고와는 그왜 째네 잔다도 좀 바타나 튼도 째네다 깨와라 세금 찍던데 기회서 가나바 되네 마다 그러나 소소 강 사샤베 개와데 아니 뭐와 간이 제거래서 어떤 것은 그래서.
So we went through that prostration part, the confession part, and now the third one is the dedication part, right? So it says, all Buddha Bhagavans, please pay attention to me in this life and in all other states of rebirth in which I have circled in samsara throughout beginner's lives, whatever root of virtue I have created by generosity, even as little as giving just one mouthful of food to a being born in the animal realm, whatever roots of virtue I have created by guarding morality, and so all these positive karmas that we are talking about that we have created, or rejoicing in the the positive karma created by others, and like Buddhas of the past, present, and future, and so forth. So all these merits, then we dedicate.
제가 아니 뭐가 제달라야 제다만도 숨 남진 동상되는 송고도 지대 아니 템바 잡아다 아니 로와 데비치는 거다 찍으려고 아니 니바데 아니 소소 싸웰라마다 가디나 딱까지 인제하다 마차게 되야 하는 거 말라도 찍으려고 아니 지대 아니 사지가 공부 조정 도와야지 된 거가 지금도 도저 뭐가 가리 뭐는 뭐 말라나면 봐스.
So you have to dedicate, right? So you dedicate. So what do you dedicate it for? So you have to dedicate. There are three things you can dedicate for. You can dedicate for the teachings of the Buddha to increase, to be present, to be available all the time, and then for sentient beings to be happy. So those two things. And then then other one is you can dedicate the merit for oneself to be never parted from a virtual from or qualified teachers, from qualified virtuous friends. And then thirdly, dedicate to gain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings.
다 니에게 다나 동샤가 내가서 뭐가 뭐체다데 아니 산제 공부도 해지는 거고요.
And so here, in this context, of the 35 Buddha confession practice, you dedicate it, to gain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings.
다 니값도 수수고 뭐자게 제디 다 가로 무슨 거래.
And so, it's here it talks about you're identifying, the merit, the substance, or the merit to be dedicated. You need a substance to dedicate. You can't just like dedicate. You have to have something that you dedicate for, right? And so like that, so you dedicate it here. So at the end you say that thus I completely dedicate to the highest, perfectly complete enlightenment. So that's the dedication here in the Tenley Buddha practice.
다 뭐와도 물음새자 이제 가고 가갈래가 막고 뭐든 거도 물음새대 뭐가 제고 제스케고 말고 물음 가르쳐는 되게 요래 뭐와 제월 인지미지 되고 그래.
So when you do the dedication, you have to have a substance, to substances to dedicate, like a merit. You need to have a merit or virtuous actions, to dedicate. But when you pray, so you don't have to have anything. You don't have to have done anything. You can just pray straight away, and without having done anything. But when you dedicate, you have to have done something, or you can dedicate, the something that you rejoice over others, virtuous actions.
오케이. 다들 가락도 하대. 아니 다 산지 좀에다 갈지 마 센로치 스타마 갈지 니로치. 쟤네 땅에 개와줘야 뒤제치게다. 내 개도 갈 개원들인데 요스 내 파티 딜라로 나와서 또 된다 또 되는 거래.
So that's the difference between the praying and dedicating. So praying and dedicating. So that's for the praying you don't need the merit, but for dedicating you need the merit or we call it substance, but you need a merit to dedicate. And so now here it is you're reporting about the positive karmas that you may have created or you have created by these things. So to say that all the Buddha Bhagavans, please pay attention to me in this life and in all the other states of rebirth in which I have circled in samsara throughout beginnerless lives, whatever root of virtue I have created by generosity and so forth.
뭐, 난 되게 배나 티나 배나 나랑 그 짐바 첨부 땅바 초바 망보 표와 라소바. 아니 되게 타나 춘달아야 돈로는 거 섬지들아야 세컴 찍자에 기회서 강 바세 어때 그거노?
So have created created by generosity, like it could be anything, right? It could be big generosity, or even small as giving a mouthful of food to to an animal.
배나 가라서 배나 싫어도 와도 섬질라지 섬지들아지 또 제한으로 단들이 지체라 간지 딘디 그거 춘주지 제가 대양한 교원데 요서 야파 지제친 거다.
So like if you're walking outside with the bread and you see a squirrel, then you just give a small piece of bread to the squirrel. Even that kind of positive karma. So even that you report even that kind of small positive karma or merit that you may have created.
다 더는 지금 수수고 무게 제고 좀 야보지 송와야다 게 무게 제고 좀 야보 송오죠 요서 어디게 겨와도 파티죠 요래
And then it says, whatever root of virtue I have created by guarding morality, the morality of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions.
아나 시바다 아니 가로 되죠 가로 어떻게 가노서
다게 출루스 교사, 다게 청벌집에 교사.
오다 네가 탐버 쇼바세 탐바세 타바샤고 그래 타바 토야게 체데 게베사와 강사샤바 되고 그래서
Then it says, whatever word virtue, root of virtue I have created by following the pure conduct.
이거
Pure,
탐바세데 타바 냥들라고 그래
and so, yeah, the pure conduct, it says, it's referring to the liberation.
어제 다 대토배하게 체다 아니 가도 세매 시간 냠내 제거든 세매 시 냠내고 대 요라 가네 아니 조배 냠내 됐던 거 님들 말 소소 파르데 심바 저기 냠내 용 거래
So, in order to achieve the liberation, whatever virtues that I've created, but in order to achieve liberation, like 가서 소바고마.
아니 세매 시간 냠내지 세매 시간 냠내 나라 아니 가도 조바들 그래 조바데 또 아니 지가로다 공주가 님 보인자 아니 네게 달나 조배 냠내 파르데 심바 토나 조배 냠내 손데
And so the four imaginables, right? So like by engaging in the practice of the four imaginables that you engage in order to achieve liberation, and then in the four imaginables there is a practice of patience in order to overcome the anger, right? So you have to practice patience, and so it's talking about the perfection of patience.
아니 되네 아니 나랑기라와 아니 샘제 요서 마마마다 멈바는 가고 딱 멈바도 좋아 뭐 된대게 체다 아니 개발라 투베가 샘제는 개발라 가로 투베가 개발라 파 꼬르네가 꼬르샤바 개발 나치 파테샤바 된대 개발자 가나 봐야지
And then this is whatever root of virtue I have created by fully ripening sentient beings, like by helping sentient beings, to be ripened or like to achieve liberation, and again realizations and so forth.
뭐 네가 가르라구나 아니 쫀르지 파시 냠내다 송거래서
And so this also explains about the practice of effort, enthusiasm.
네, 되네. 나그 산집저도 샘집에 기회자와 강라바세 뒤가 샘제 탐주게 되다. 아니 소주고 샘 산집에 샘께네 소주고 샘 요모도 좀 영어 좀 맞추베게 기회자와 강라바세 뒤가 아니 something 냠네 땡겨래.
And then whatever root of virtue I have created by generating bodhicitta. And so whatever one, the virtue one has created by thinking about the benefit of others. Also, this explains about the training of the concentration.
뭐지? 다 갈라나면 이시 기회자와 강라바세 뒤기 가르스나 아니 다 주지 내로 신청 몰라봐 또비 다가 아니 지금 샘정에 대셔셔봐 강인백에 와서 되고
And then whatever root of virtue I have created by my unsurpassed and transcendental wisdom. So that's the wisdom, like the training of the wisdom. So one have realized all the things as they are.
그건도 라나메베 이시다 아니 주직까지 주직 그 도야가 아니 저쪽에 아니 담에 도비 셔라베다 담에 도비 셔랍 곰베게 와서 강인 바스 어떤데 이시기 와서 됐다 주발다
So
이시기 와서 강나바 대다 탐쳐서 돼 아니 단에 다파 가리 뭐는 아니 지도 대시 돔때 돔네 라나마치 바세 거다
벌써디
담보디 이시기 와서 강나바는 나빠나 라나메 이시데 주직까지 주직 그 도시에 저쪽에 아니 담에 도비 셔라베다 담에 도비 셔랍 곰베게 와서 강나바세 거고
And so here, whatever root of the virtue I have created by my unsurpassed transcendental wisdom. So unsurpassed transcendental wisdom, is referring to the truth body or the Dharmakaya, And the main cause to achieve the Dhammakaya, is the wisdom realizing selflessness or emptiness, right? And so therefore it is explaining about it explains about the training of the wisdom. And so whatever the virtue, the root of virtue one has created by engaging in the practice, of the transcendental wisdom or selflessness, or wisdom realizing selflessness or emptiness.
다 디오들라 티 인지가 가베 근데 찍더스 대시 돔때 돔네 라나 마치 바사데 딱 간지 경호와 간지 뭐 간지 제단 소요레스 뭐 제단.
And then so all these merits, you combine them together. It says like this: all these assembled and gathered, combined together, I fully dedicate, to the unsurpassed, the exalted, and the unexcelled.
되게 된다가는 아니 찍더 대시세데 소수 아니 개와 제바 아니 제라 제데 슈바 젠지 제발 지사래 개와도 참아 루루책이 이게 담보도 소수 개와라 고고 그래.
So all these, all this gathered, all this assembled and gathered, So assembled is putting it all together. So all the virtuous actions that I have created, and I have made others to help others to create, or rejoice in others having created virtuous actions. All these are assembled together.
아니 돔데세데 젠지 제샤베 개와 강하연 바테 아니 두루루 제사도 고고.
처음에 말해.
돔데 처마세데 젠지 개와 타마데 돔데 타마라 라지니까
찍도 두신 돔들라나 당보 두듯이.
찍도 디시데다 랑 개와치.
아니.
돔데라나 젠지 개와라 고고.
아니.
돔데스나 다 라지니게 게다데 두루루 제네세.
So first, an assemble, is assembling all the positive karma that one has created, and gather is all the positive karmas that one has created by making others to create, and then combined together, is all the positive karmas that one has created by rejoicing over others' positive karmas.
아트서 뭐 코로닌자 소소데 닌자 라지 닌자 타마데 라지 니게 게와도 도시.
Oh, sorry. So the combined together, is both oneself and others.
태워져다 담보 소소되지. 아니 돔세데 아니 젠지 게자 젠지 개와 제바 아니 젠지 젠라 개와 제도 주바 제월 지더라 대두두지. 타마 돔세데 다 라지니게 개와 강사 잡아데 다 두루룩지 내사지.
So the first one assembled, is assembling all the positive actions created by oneself, and gathered, is gathering all the positive actions created by others, right? Or helping by helping others to create the positive karmas, and then combined together is all those positive karmas created by oneself and others. Others, all you combine them all together.
네긴 레와 니게 콜라 달라 장쇼 가로데 동샤근 아는 레와 용도 이시장센다 아니 자사는 버지도 내시도 잡샤.
So Yongzi Shijaten and Gyatso Rinpoche have commentated in this way.
뭐지? 다들 드니 루루 dom독치네 당이 나 잘라도 도도치네 가지나나 아니 라나 마치바 고나 마치바 고모야 고마 라메야 라마요 송고 라나 마야도 샤치도 마바지요 오데다.
And so then after combining all this together, all the positive karmas created by oneself, others together, then I fully dedicate to the unsurpassed, the unexcelled, that higher than the higher, that superior to the superior. Thus, I completely dedicate to the highest, perfectly complete enlightenment.
어쨌든 내가 쳐다 대신 몸보자 다도 타마자 간제 라나 마치바 약쇼대 대내 고나 마치바 된 토쇼대 야 고마 대야 고마 라마 대야 라마 간제 약쇼도 뭐 예세.
Unsurpassed, it's like the best, and unexcelled is nothing above that, and then higher than is the best of the best, and superior to the superior. So for that, so to the completely, perfectly complete enlightenment, to that I dedicate, to achieve that I dedicate all these merits.
아니 베나 다큐멘터리 고마 토백 체나체나 아니 야보도레 고나 메바 고마레 라나 메바 레다 예나야 가로 단데 텔레야 아니 고마요 와인자 베나 사제 고방고 토백치는 거고 그래서로.
And it says like a higher and then higher than the high. So like the state of arhat, ship, is a high, but then there's a higher than that, and the higher than that, that's the full enlightenment, right? So higher than high is like, a high is the arhatship, but the full enlightenment is the higher than high, or superior than superior.
다나 지금 뭐에 갑라 인다야. 아니 샹적고 샘다 돈유도베 따위 샘베게는 뭐와이나 시다 뭐와지나 야보레다야. 디 강라야 강호베 제데 샹적고 샘다 돈바니 도베 샤랍지 스네 뭐나야. 다 고모야 고마 라메야 라마 차로 뭐발라나 메바 차로 그래서.
And then also, like, when you dedicate, the merit, if you adorn the merit, with the bodhicitta and the correct view of emptiness, and dedicate in that way, then it becomes unsurpassed. It's just dedicating merit itself is good, but if you dedicate it in conjunction, with the bodhicitta and the correct view of emptiness, then it becomes even more, even better. So that's why it's called unsurpassed or unexcelled.
다 딘디 뭐와데 다 딘디게 개베타와 강요 바데 가는 거잖아. 다 디고라야. 제가 내배 산지 좀 되는 제가 용서 뭐바다. 제가 펩 선배가 산지 찬스도 가는 거와 대나지 뭐이.
And then after that, it says that how do you dedicate all these things? And after that, it says, just as the previous Buddha Bhagavans have fully dedicated, just as the future Buddha Bhagavan will fully dedicate, and just as the present abiding Buddha Bhagavans are fully dedicating, like that I too dedicate fully. Like that.
어째 내 빼는 건데 내가 치무시고 남주변에 지나서 동자 차서 노야매 같이 되는 바이나 땅 지금 이렇게 저 간이 적었나 다른 데 조시는 그래. 제단대에 산지 쫀되는 요소 뭐바다. 제단 마시면 산지 요소 뭐바 여바다. 제단 다들어집에 산지 뜸이 요소 뭐반자 봐 대전다. 다 미데 시제베자 소수 미체니자 요소 뭐바 되고 어디서 납고 그래.
So if you don't know how to dedicate, then you can just dedicate in the same way as just as the Buddhas of the past, Buddhas of the future, and Buddhas of the present dedicate. I, and you can may share your name. I, so and so. I Tamcho, will dedicate fully in that way.
Okay. 어디 뭐가 랍첨보 뭐가 떡첨보 아니 소소가 특대도 따라 들으면은 나가라지다. 단내 들으면은 잠벌 봐 주던 제바다 지던 잠배가 주던 제바다. 산저선 바꾸는 좀 가령 뭐와 나시체 이해서 어떻게 특대 노션은 되요래.
And so these are the several verses of dedication. You can recite, just if you don't know word by word, you can just recite those prayers, dedication verses. This one, you can just this like this, or like the one about how just as the Samadhi I mentioned, and she dedicate, and can dedicate in that same way, like that. So these are very powerful, and I'm very blessed in a way it was like done repeatedly by the great masters all the time. So therefore it's very powerful also.
What is that is shoodlaya 다 연락 되는 야 가십사 도도로 오지네 득바 탐절한 소소로 샤고 손음 탐절한 지서야랑 뭐 산지 탐절한 고저서 나갈라나미 신초담바 도브르 결치 의사 돼 말이.
And then like after that is kind of summarizing all those practices like of the merit, creating merit and so forth. So he said, like, I confess all negativities individually, I rejoice in all the merits, I urge and implore all Buddhas to grant my request, may I receive the highest, most sublime transcendental wisdom.
뭐더라? 아니 간지 링아 여섬지 아니 지 드바사샤바도 리지고네 샹사와 마가고네 아니 지 이자나들의 도산도야 아니 생미고네 야 조바치베고네 아니 수수수 샤가 이스로 드바탐전의 소소 샤가.
I confess all negativities individually, like all the negativities that we have created individually by our body, like by making prostrations or circumambulations, we purify the negativities created by the body, and by reciting the mantras and prayers, like mantras, the 100 syllable mantras of Bodhisattva, and then mentally having a strong sense of regret towards the negative karmas. And so in that way, you can individually purify the negativities created by body, speech, and mind.
아니 라다 젠지가 아니 사슴비 기베자발 아니 지세랑 와치 엇 두치기 있어.
And then as I rejoice in all the merits created by myself and others.
제가 매바 중을 납치 쏟아봐 게라 지세는 초동 가서 지는 거지 소위 봐. 제가 젠지가 원래 지세는 제가 빼면서 내가 좀 잡고.
So just like Lama Tsongkhapa said, the practice of the rejoicing is very meritorious, yet very little effort needed.
어디지? 아니 산재 탐절은 고지서원은 간제 대자 수수 삼바당 템베까지 추진 콜로 박 나라 고도도 나로나세니 수수 라마라 인지미야 소 답고 그래스.
And then says, I urge and implore all Buddhas to grant my request. So you have to make a request, to turn the wheel of Dharma, to live for a long time like that. So, so you, it says, I urge and implore all Buddhas to grant my request, to have the teachers and Buddhas, to turn the wheel of Dharma and to live for a long time.
어제 다 디질라 아니 냥엘레 만다고 소바 대양 아니 소수고 자벨라 막 기위신이 산지다 최저선 받도 냥엘레 내외 출 맞대 맞지네 까와 마도 받도 주진 걸로 거니 주로 나서 어두세 말.
And so then, of course, they're requesting, to turn the wheel of Dharma and requesting to not, pass away, but turn the wheel of Dharma for eons and eons and live for eons and eons like that.
뭐지? 아니 다 딘디가 개위 소수 아니 라다지 개위 싸워서 저 처음에 라나메비 이시진 촉 간제 아니 이시 축고 토야가 전적으로 결치세 어두셔선 거래.
And then may I receive the highest and most sublime transcendental wisdom, through the power of these merits created by myself and others.
어때가도 동산 뒤나라 연락되게 냠는 차도 상도 와.
And so this also includes this practice of the 35 Buddha practice, includes the 7 limb practices as well.
그러나 계산간도라 주인 봐 이게 아니 라숨주 송아라 찬자바데 응수 찬자바지 디쇼라야 아니 저법해봐 내 손으로 주인 봐.
So the 7 limb practices is like making prostration and making offerings, right? So prostration, like, of course, is obvious, they're making prostration to the 35 Buddhas, and, implicitly also is, it becomes an offering. So there's these two, right? The prostration and offering.
저도 청소하는데 디젤라 아니 득바샤베야라.
And prostration, prostration, offering, and confession, right? So there's the confession.
아니 손으로 지세랑 왜라.
And then there is rejoicing.
아니 냥을면도 소원되베야라.
And then there's a limb of requesting to not pass away.
아니 라나메비 이시지
Chogo.
도와줘도 뭐와. 알레나 초고고베야라.
And then request or supplication for turning the wheel of Dharma, and the limb of supplication for turning the wheel of Dharma. Then there is then the last one, that's the limb of dedication, right? So all these 7 limbs are included in there also.
상제 탐절은 꼬지가 소원돼서 니나 니자들. 네, 중국 고학교 야다 영어면도 소원되면 이제 틀리벌 고고서와.
So this, to I urge and implore all the Buddhas to grant my request. So my requests are for the Gurus and Buddhas to live long, and for the Gurus and Buddhas to turn the wheel of Dharma. So it includes both requests.
Okay. 어디지 다 되기 아니 연락 되기 냠내단 되게 거니 디바사바야나 아니 마다에 니바치는 요 말이.
And so anyway, so with all these 7 limbs, 7 limb practices, if you purify negative karma, with these 7 limb practices, then it will definitely get purified.
Okay. 다 뒤어서 아니 다 주대발 아니 그 짬도 두두지 저거 짬도 두두시 짬도 무조자와 강다 다들 주바나 강다한다 봐 다다대지 고마시 예대가 봐 타이 잠선 저거나 탐모자위 이제 잡선여원 최고 세대.
And then the last one, the paragraph, is about again taking refuge, right, into the conquerors, the best of humans, those who are living in the present time, and those who have lived in the past, and those who will likewise come, to all those who have qualities as vast as an infinite ocean. With the folded hands, I approach for refuge.
제자다 가지 사다 뭐는지 또 미나는 초도 제와다 그래 상지 좀 된데 이봐서 된지가 상지 좀 된데도 저 강다 다다 쇼딩에도 강다 다다 아니 지금 내봐다 아니 먹어봐 셔봐지 봐 된지가 있는데 잠소던 타이 잠소던 잡아대 샘을 템퍼처네 아니 소소가 리지 타모자 샘을 그거다 뱀베고네 아니 가디나 아니 상지 추근데선데만 딱 잡고 또 라나면 봤은 거 이해서
So the conquerors, it says the best of the humans, gods and humans, best of the humans. Those who are living in the present time, those who have lived in the past, and those who will likewise come into to the in the world in the future, and to those who have qualities as vast as infinite ocean. With the hands folded, I approach for refuge. And so once you physically, you can fold your hands together and bow, and mentally, and have a strong respect or remember all these qualities.
오케이. 다들 동시에 살다.
With that, we have completed the practice of the 35 Buddhas now.
제가 너도 내시 잡는다 내시 뭐 보자고 다. 그 등재가 손으로 시당 잡아서 맞아 하고 그러와.
So if we go through all the explanation, there's a lot of explanation, but we just went through this like the word explanations of the word of this prayer.
제가 간진 대나랑 거라서 파리를 심바 죽기 냠내 대한 대나 뭐 제도.
벌써 더?
바로도 심바 죽.
And so here also you can dedicate, for the practice of the six perfections, right?
아니 다지 뭐와도 채와는 뭐와 라나면 봐. 뭐와 약속도 채고 그래서 놓고 근데 왔어.
And so when you do the dedication, you should dedicate for the best.
그리고 뭐와 라나면 봐. 약속도 다 약속 간에 채웠나?
Unsurpassed.
아니
Dedication.
아니 소소배나 상지 땜바 제베시는 거 나올라나면 봐 차그래. 아니 소소 기회신인다 카마타가 채된 거와 이나야 안 라나면 바래. 아니 조장 도에다 라나면 봐. 강가 집어 차그래스.
And so if you dedicate it, for the teachings of the Buddha to teachings of the Buddha to flourish or spread, then that's also unsurpassed dedication. And if you dedicate for being not separated from one's guru in all lives, then is also unsurpassed. Also dedicating for full enlightenment, to gain full enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings is also unsurpassed dedication.
오케이. 다도 지내지나 다 지나서 동사 차상 로를 만들어 왔던데 여와 있나요? 배나 담보 잠로야 보시체 아니 되네. 아니 또 맞추는데 저 다지 마사지 좀 빠져 시간 타버라 대추보라 차트는 리얼레스. 당에 디디죠. 다 디디진 차도 디디진에 로로 전화 시고인다.
그래 자당 하 먹어나?
차상 한 먹어지 다차 안사 뭐도 차다 좀 먹어나 담보 잠로야 뭐 디다달라만 좀 골마 준대로 와 잠로 시기로 와 산지 주도 뭐도 시기로 와.
So if you don't know all these Buddhas, names, just like it is here in the Buddha practices, then at least the Buddha, the Buddha Shakyamuni, right? And so you can just make prostration to Buddha Shakyamuni and do it repeatedly for like 35 times or more. And first you start, with the refuge, so just as it is here, or you can do the refuge and bodhicitta prayer that we do usually, at the center.
아니 되네 마토도 마 되지. 아니 다 소속이 예바도 이 가능한도 예바요 와서 소속이 예바 제와 이제는 제대 주바 이제 지쳐 지세요 와 돈도 타마 땅이 샤기 삼설은 요 받게 버렸어.
And then, think about all the negative karmas that one has created or one may have created, if you not remember all of them. Then with the strong regret, towards having created those negative karma, and then you sit kneeling down with your hands folded together, and then you confess them.
아니 되네 아니 다 지금 줘봐도 되면 대 마샤와이나 당긴 간송 내수서 무콤바 제드네 견도도 뭐 근데 제그래 삼네 섬나 잡아지네 아니 다네 손데 녀바들이 제가 매 산이네 제가 매타 제고 그래.
And then you confess in the presence of this terrified Buddha or Buddha Shakyamuni, and and of course by remembering and by thinking about the negative results of these negative karmas. So if I don't confess them, I'll be born in the lower realm, in the hell realm, hungry ghost, and animal, and so forth. And so therefore I'm going to confess them, and also since this is going to make me born in lower realms, I'm not going to repeat this kind of negative karma again, even at the cost of my life, like that. And so you make a strong promise to not repeat that kind of negative karma again.
근데 대지에서 잘라 다 고야고 지한다 다야 도전은 뭐고 그랬어. 뭐야 개와 다 소소가 지금 아니 짐바동 트름서 파르데 짐바 두기냠네 지발라서 와서 세마이 잠바체네 안 뭐고 그랬어.
And then whatever the virtues that you have created by doing the confession or by engaging in any other practice of the six perfections, you remember all those and then dedicate them to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings.
뭐다지 뭐했지 뭐했다야 안 도자도 되지는 뭐왔지. 내가 뭐 올라나면 받잖아 제바데 샴니지 샹제고서 돈유도 루샤랍지 선배거네 아니 뭐와나 딸라나면 뭐 고나면 봐 야쇼더레스.
And so you dedicate it, for the highest enlightenment, to benefit all sentient beings. And if you dedicate it, then that becomes, that's a dedication. But if you do it with the conjunction with the bodhicitta and correct beauty of emptiness, then it becomes unsurpassed dedication.
Okay. 아니 되네 다던데 특해 너 왜나 단다로 아니 지가 산제 펩 손바다 다다 휴신바다 뭐뭐시바지 왔던 아니 뭐가 가점은 가나 제가 이해들어.
Or just dedicate just say that I'm going to dedicate it in the same way, just as the Buddhas of the past, Buddhas of the present, Buddhas of the future is dedicated.
아니 다티 특대면 아니 잠을 보고 치던 제발나 군도 좀 받아야지 대다 근데 개원도 탐저라던 거다 특대 강가로 와.
I know.
다시 맞으러 오지다.
So then do you know that the dedication verse, like Samantha Bhadra Manjushri?
I think everyone know that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
어디 내지 저기다 아니 지 소소 냠내 디디 차도 그래.
거기도 잠을 보서 된 남들 저도 되노 열에 말에.
열. 여러 개와디.
요. Is it in the center prayer book?
Yes, in the King of Prayers. Yeah.
No, in the center prayer book?
Yes.
Oh, in the King of Prayer book, in the center prayer book.
Yeah.
In the Center's prayer book as well.
Yes. Yeah. In which is it's in the Center's prayer book. Yeah.
So it's in the King of Prayers, though, right? But
It's also in the King of
it's
Prayers.
not taken out from there and put it in the dedication part of the center prayer book, right?
I think just in the King of Prayers. But
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's in the Center prayer book on page 101.
101? Okay.
Yeah, it's taken out of the. it's
Okay,
in-
like that. So that's what people have to see. So if you can see that page 101 in the center prayer book and that dedication, so that's the verse there. You can see I dedicate in the same way like that.
다들 숏컷이다. 다 숏컷면 차다지나 다 동자 차선 내주다 야 보여. 숏컷 맞춰야지. 야 보지나 안에 동자 차선 내들어.
Yeah, so of course that's the shortcut. If you don't do the shortcut, then you can do the long one. Then you recite the whole Theravada Buddha practice.
Okay. Any questions? Yes, Jennifer.
Geshe, I was wondering, do we not include the 7 medicine Buddhas when we do this? We only do the 35 confession Buddhas?
가서
알레 내가 저기 멜라 되게 제가 말해서 또 동시에 하숨 성아 주부 지가 그래서 동시에 없어.
우리 니나라 동사 멜라디 요말.
Yes, during the 35 Buddha practice, only 35 Buddhas. No 7 medicine Buddhas. I mean 8 medicine Buddhas.
Okay. Yeah, because in this prayer book, it includes the 7.
대남주 거 가라 남도 냠내 거 카카를 지금 냠도 요 말다. 대고
Yeah,
자서.
you can add it. You can add it if you want, you know. But in the 35 Buddha practice in general, don't have that. But if you want, you can add it. Yes, and you might have realized that in the picture that the Geshe explained about, at the end there's 8 of them, right? There is a 6. So there's 6 row, 7th row, right? 7th on the 7th row, and there's 8 medicine Buddhas there also. Yeah.
오케이. 당가도 드나시마 공식 시작하면 다들 동서도 드나시마 가도 다 라레나 따야 예서 가도 거는 막 차차 명예인도 차차기 차 당가도 책이다. 오늘 지나 가서 단데 드나시마다 공식입니다. 공식 시작만 다 사다고 세상도 됐어. 로조 체크하다 주만 가도 내시 잡고치 골만데 차차기 차 등에서 차 마등에서 거 솔다데 네 모두 책인다.
디젤라 가르라 그랬다. 가르쳐야 돼.
니질라 가로 니질라 빠지 좀 다시 해.
좀 더래.
Yeah.
Okay. So so this is the end of this a course on medicine. I mean the 35 Buddha practice, and so usually before we start the next course, we take a break. So that's supposed to be a break next week, but we're not taking break because this is Sagadawa. And so we're going to take all the opportunity to make a use of it, and so we're going to do the practice now. So we went through the explanations. Now we're going to do practice next week. So recite it and then make prostrations where we have to make prostration, and then confess where we confess and dedicate where we dedicate. So those who can make prostrations physically fit, can really stand up and do the prostrations. And if you are not physically fit, then you can just sit down and recite with others. And so we'll do the actual practice. So before we start the next course, which is on what, 4 tenets, right?
Yes.
제가 내 칼만 돼. 내 조절 다 샹타쇼스. 다 조조치데 대쇼스. 단데 삼쇼스 두제. 가지 액션 하지 않는 중간에.
So we're going to put into practice, right? Actual and engage in the practice. So I will tell you, where you make prostration and where you confess, and where you dedicate, and you do that. Follow that. Yeah.
Okay. 이게 저한테 야롱서면 야롱 조조치 맞대는 대듯이다.
So when I say stand up and make prostration, you do that. When I say kneel down and confess, you do that. Okay.
그러나 제단을 양 잡동도 카드만 랍되어 있나 양 오늘 그게 수보 다 제가 양도 조조도.
So yeah, it's good to practice physically doing the practice also. Otherwise, if we just talk verbally, then we don't really remember all of them.
Okay. Yes, Bob.
Maybe I missed. Geshe said the offering them is implicit in the practice. I was wondering if Geshe could say what is the offering.
차 숨주 송아타래. 되게 슈라야 아니 차인데 저거 필요하다 땡어서 내가 들은도.
Yes, yeah, that's what it says in one of the commentary.
무슨 디나랑도 팅무스 땡가도 세운 도금도.
Because it's not explicit, right? It's not clear, obvious here in the word itself, and it doesn't say I offer. It says I prostrate, right? But in some other explanations, commentary, it says implicitly it also shows making offerings.
오, 제가 어떤 데서, okay? Okay, Jeff.
Yes, how you doing, Geshe? I had a question on the glorious sandalwood. We did not go over like the Pure Land that he lived. All we did, we said he was in the Northwest.
그래서
그래, 젠덴
젠데발 아니
젠데발디.
가르쳐 주세요.
되게 다들 초대 초 디마도 지금 때문에 가서 다신데 송마송사 신데 거래 됐어.
산지 가게 되셔.
젠데발.
젠데발 가게 되셔. 렘바 가게 되셔. Which number?
We know which number of Buddha?
18.
18.
Understandable. 아니 납상 tamame be 신경 써 주는데 납상 납다 상게 tamame be 신.
It's called the stainless pure land. In the direction of west north, right?
납다 상게 tum상게 tama 신보에서 신.
Oh no, Tipsang.
아 tum상.
No, sorry, not stainless. Sorry.
납다 상 tama 신보에서 신감.
Like the good smell. What is that? Fragrance. Fragrance in the pure land.
나 사자들은 가서 tum상이와 tum상게 tama 찹다 되게 신경 줄었다.
So, like usually, we call it, we like something that produces fragrance like a saffron. So it's a saffron. Saffron is also called tipsang, and so it's called a saffron or a good fragrance in the pure land.
Okay. 제가 너도다 셔다 금도도 돼서 말하면 내가 강가 집안 나가면도 제가 그 말하고 용서 그래요. 제가 로고 되어 있나?
Yeah, so of course there's many different commentaries, and they may explain many different explanations with the different commentaries. So if you come across different ones.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then we stop today. Just make sure next week just Devra and I'm talk with day off, but not necessarily day off. I think we try to do practice action. Okay. To everyone else, make sure everyone have the pray. If you don't have the book, just try to pin the root text. Okay. No need the commentary. Otherwise, then you confuse or go up down, then you already confuse. Just get everyone to root text. Then easy, okay? Otherwise, the commentary, they add so many things, then you get, okay, what, just comment, root text very short. Okay? Okay, then we stop. I hope you can get something, then we add one more time next week. We do action, really action, okay? Then don't eat too much dinner, okay? No, if you possible, you can do physical prostration. Not by just you visualization, Nanto yorwa, liji cha, ngagisha, iji cha yorwa.
So like you can do a verbal prostration or a mental prostration also, if you can't do it physically.
Because we have so many excuses. Oh, I'm not able to do. Oh, my body is like that. Oh, I'm not allowed to do that. Something. Oh, my knees too hurt. We have so many excuses, right?
Geshe, I do have a bad back, like I broke.
Oh yeah, this is a good mention. This is good mention. If you have some physical problem, don't do. Okay.
Yeah, I'm having trouble getting off the floor. I can get down there, but once I get down there, I can't get back up.
Yeah, this is good. This is a good mention. Okay. If you have some problem, you physically don't try to. Okay. 나도 지요. 차 산에 나나 집발에 아니 내가 지 나나 집발. 그 나나 가서 소소 정하라고 와.
Yeah, if you are not fit, then don't do it. So whether you get sick by walking or by making prostration or doing practice dharma, it's the same thing, becoming sick. So you don't want to get sick. Okay, so don't do it, even if it's a good thing to do, but don't do it if you are not physically fit.
제가 간도 레 담보와 간도 되는 거 또바 토면 간도 단다야 생기 수보 대체배 사섭 채우러.
Yeah, so of course, those who are in a high, advanced, practitioners, like with a high realization, and can do it, even if their body is injured, they can do it, but we are not there that level yet, so we have to take care of our body.
But Mark can do prostration. He's a strong man. You can do the prostration outside, but I can see the backyard, okay? Mark, are you there?
I guess I'm here.
Oh, good. Do you see? I can see physically his prostration or not, Okay, you can take his awesome yoga mat, they go to next to the post, stupa, you can do that, okay?
I can do that.
Okay. Okay, anyway, wonderful. I'm sure we get, a lot of merit, even I don't have much education to explain, but, I got also good opportunity to, study so many different commentaries, okay, which one's more easy way, I'm looking for this just more easy ways, I'm not taught to more difficult, things, fancy ones. I just taught to how really makes sense to, put food on your table on the plate, not on the fridge, plate, how to eat like that. They were taught to, take some place little piece, another piece a little piece, put together. Also not, karo. Yang shundo manga waro.
Not contradicting with the
Yeah,
text.
yang ngarang social jo mai maro thing is so ye.
Not made up by myself.
Tende za ani ngarang la kanji koka yawo choso lobso yataji chia choso ani telengan so gewe tawa. La tene temba jewan do dewan zambili la shide yongwa. Ani chi tandege name ani nyu de shwa nga so gewa zocha dango.
And so I had a great opportunity to go through all different texts and commentaries, and then I gained some understanding for myself also. So this has been a great for all of us. So whatever virtuous actions that we have created by, going through this practice and teaching, let's dedicate that merit for the teachings of the Buddha to increase, and for the sentient beings to be happy and free from all the sufferings, especially the pandemic that we're all going through now, and then of course finally dedicate for the achievement of enlightenment of all sentient beings.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Geshe-la.
Sashi perkejekshin metok tram re rab thing she need again party sangi jindu mikte wagi dokun namdajin lacher pashu Cheton lamne kutse rapten ching nam katrin ne chok ge padang losang ten pedrin me sasum yi rowin munsel tak tu negyu chi idam guru ratna mandalakam niryatayami. In that snow mountain and sort of land source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Zengatsu Chenrezig remain in life till samsara's end. Savior of the snowland teachings and transmigratory beings who extensively clarifies the path that unifies emptiness and compassion to the lotus in the hand, Lord Tenzigatsu, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be fulfilled. You who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as a bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. Through this virtue, may I swiftly, having gained Guru state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may our unborn arise and we're born never decline but increase forevermore. Make me say wait chen resi remake and pay one po jom del yang gong chen ke pe su gen so ka pa lo sang dra pe ja bla so wa de. Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Damchala.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Geshe-la.
Damchala. Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Damchala.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Valuable.
Damsho.
Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Geshe-la. Thank you,
Hope
Damsho.
everyone has a beautiful night, beautiful
Thank
morning.
you.
Make sure everyone get the root text, okay?
Mhm.
The next week we do really action, okay? Don't eat too much dinner. It's okay, I'm not bringing you too much. Lord prostration, okay? But make sure it's good, You have to, you have any excuse you are physically, don't do, okay? It's not necessary. Okay?
Down halfway, but that's about it.
Yeah, be careful. This is very important to take care of our body. Okay. And good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Geshe-la.
Thank you, Geshe-la.